Ellen McCauley prayed up in Syracuse, New York. Now, I told you a couple weeks ago that we're going to talk about food tonight, and we are. But before we get there, Tony made the suggestion that we talk about the towns where people live the longest. And I read this, and I included it because I thought it was very interesting. The quest to live longer is one of humanity's oldest dreams, and 3 isolated communities seem to have stumbled across the answer. Now, I don't know about you, but I would only want to live longer if I'm healthy. Who wants to live longer if you're, on a ventilator or something of that nature? And I'm not saying anything negative about that. I'm just talking about myself. That's why we should all have our advance directives done, our power of attorney, our healthcare proxy. Those are important things for everyone to have. But we want to live longer, healthier lives. So, people have so many videos on YouTube that, you could spend, you could have it be your job, look at it, Facebook and YouTube. But there was one of a 105-year-old guy running a race. Yeah, you posted that? And I thought it was incredible. 105. That's what I think would be great for us. Wouldn't you like to be 105 running a race? So let's talk about these 3 towns. One of them is Betty. One of these is Okinawa in Japan. Now, what's interesting about them is they eat a ton of tofu and soya. Now, I'd like a show of hands. Who had tofu last week? Who had soya?
What is soya?
I'm not quite sure. Am I saying it right? Is it there? Tofu, and I think it's soy. I think it's soy products. That's what my thought is. What, Judy?
Somebody today at the thing that we're going to in the morning said there's the product at Wegmans. It's called Crumbles. It's in the refrigerator section of the health food. And it's like a tofu that she mixes in, like when she makes stuffed peppers. And she said her husband doesn't even know what's in there. And she said it's not bad at all. She mixes it in with stuff, so she's getting the benefit of the tofu. But
tofu takes on the taste. Now, none of us had tofu or soya. I'll look up soya for next week. Think about that. Also, the Okinawans, they eat more tofu and soya products than any other population in the world, and they eat so many different vegetables and fruit, all rich in antioxidants. They also have a tradition known as, and I want you all to memorize this tradition, and I want you to make it a part of your life. It's called Hara Hachi Bu, and it means eat until you're only 80% full. So why don't we all say, what? 80% full? Let's say it together. Hara Hachi Bu. Now, if anybody comes in next week and says to me without looking, I practiced Hara Hachi Bu last week and I lost 2 pounds. But remember, the Okinawas live long and prosper. Okay. Only Mary Ellen gets me. She gets me. Also, Sardinia, Ovoda, Sardinia. They eat the Mediterranean diet. What that is plant-based foods, fruits, veggies, whole grains, legumes, nuts, herbs instead of salt, and they limit their red meat to only a couple of times a week. Not a couple of times, a couple of times a month. Not a couple of times a day, a couple of times a month. So that's their big secret, the Mediterranean diet. But what's interesting about Loma Linda, California, is that their longevity doesn't have to do with genes so much or what they eat, it's their faith. It's a community of Seventh-day Adventists, but put Catholics in their place. But what they do is they don't drink or smoke, and they mainly stick to a vegetarian diet. So, but studies have shown that people that go to church regularly, whatever faith they have, live longer, and there's no question about that. Because regular churchgoers have significantly lower stress, they can cope with challenges in life better, and they have a broader purpose. And I don't know about you, but one of the things I committed to 8 years ago when I started Pray It Off was becoming more involved in the church, more involved in this parish. Every time we go to Mass, I turn to Bob and go, I love HF. I love Holy Family. Now, some of you might go to a different church, a different Catholic church. That's fine as long as you love it and embrace it. Think about those things. Think about the key to a healthier life. And you notice none of them said they ran 26-mile marathons every day. The exercise wasn't even mentioned. So think about trying to eat some tofu, trying to have something a little bit more. And so many people, like, they'll have iceberg lettuce every day and they'll say, I'm eating my vegetables. There's so many wonderful vegetables out there that you should try and mix it up. I'm going to stop right there, Bob.